Harry's wife. It's all your fault. As I have explained to you so many times, it's never the narcissist's fault. It's something's fault, or usually your fault, or his fault, or their fault, but never that of the narcissist. Arsey Wipes went nowhere, not because Harry's wife is a talentless interviewer who's lazy. No, it was quite simply the fact that people didn't give it a chance, and that the people didn't promote it correctly, and the right guests didn't quite shine as they ought to have done. The bench of stench could have achieved even more. However, people were unkind to it, unnecessarily so, because they're racist and bigoted. Nothing to do with the fact that Harry's wife can't write. Whatever happens in Harry's wife's life, where it goes wrong, it's not her fault. Somebody else gets the blame, and the person that usually does is the intimate partner primary source, quite simply because when they're in sustained devaluation, they're still the person that is around the narcissist the most. They invariably live with them, and therefore that means that they are an easy target. I have told you since day dot that Harry's wife will repeatedly blame others, and that she will blame all of their recent woes on hapless Haz. She does not stand in the mirror and say, "Time to take responsibility for myself. I am a talent-free zone that's paranoid, unpleasant. My popularity has plummeted because of the lies that I've told and the revisions of history that I have engaged in. People simply don't like me because they see me as a grifter. And they're right. I'm just out for myself, an opportunist that has got up the nose of everybody around me. I was rude to an aging monarch. I was disrespectful to her husband. I have caused fights unnecessarily. I have exhibited envy and jealousy. I have plagued the lives of all of those around me. I regularly use people, drawing them in, pouring sugar upon them, and then casting them one side once I've extracted what use they are to me. I am driven by an insatiable need for attention, and I've done so much wrong in my life. I understand now why so many people have turned against me. I understand now why I am unpopular. I understand now why people don't want to hear from me or see me. And I must work so hard, oh, so hard, to ensure that I put things right. That will never, ever happen with Harry's wife. There's the possibility as a mid-range narcissist she could say words to that effect, but then never do anything about it. But more usually, the narcissist such as her will simply say, "My woes are caused by you. My problems have been caused by you. My tribulations and trials are generated by you. Why have you done this to me? Why does it always go wrong for me?" The narcissist will punch you and then go, "Ow." With Harry's wife, as I have told you so many times, she will blame anybody but herself. And the heat is being directed towards Harry, which neatly segues into the article which comes from Heat. Yes, that bastion of journalistic excellence tells us it's been another week from hell for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, with Harry's wife spotted looking stressed as it was revealed the pair's much heralded £15 million deal with Spotify is over. And after a disastrous few months for the couple, we're told Harry's wife's feeling frustrated at her fall from grace, and Harry is in the firing line. As the French might say, quelle surprise. The Sussex's rep confirmed Harry, 38, and Harry's wife, 41, were leaving the streaming platform and arranging to take their audio content elsewhere, just a year after the launch of the Archetypes podcast, which saw Harry's wife interview, in inverted commas, the likes of Mariah Carey and Serena Williams. Despite the multi-million-pound deal with Spotify taking place in 2020, it took 2 years for 12 episodes of the podcast to be released, with sources claiming the ex-royals didn't reach the productivity benchmark to receive the full payout from the partnership. As if that wasn't embarrassing enough for the couple, Spotify executive Bill Simmons used his own podcast to criticize them, saying the fucking grifters, fuck 'em. He also added, "I've got to get drunk one night and tell the story of the Zoom I had with Harry to try and help him with the podcast idea." And as the couple faced their critics head-on, TV personality Kelly Osbourne, 38, certainly didn't hold back on her opinion of the prince. Talking on the I've Had It podcast last week, Kelly ranted, "Harry's a fucking twat. He's a whining, whinging, complaining, woe is me. You were the prince of a goddamn country who dressed up as a fucking Nazi. And now you're trying to come back as the Pope? Suck it." No mincing of the words there from Kelly Osbourne. Public opinion of the duo has nose-dived. In America, since they released their highly anticipated Netflix documentary, Harry and Harry's Wife, last December. The show had plenty of viewers siding with the couple and calling them brave and inspiring. But while their TV deal was a success, Harry's bombshell memoir, Spare, came with far more cons than pros. Despite becoming a bestseller, critics branded the book, which saw the Duke spill his family secrets and more than one reference to his genitals, disastrous. And after a difficult few months, the couple were also ridiculed in a South Park episode, and widely accused of exaggerating their account of a near-catastrophic car chase in New York. Things have turned upside down in the Sussexes' world, with former Suits actress Harry's wife now embarrassed at becoming a Hollywood laughingstock and fearing their once golden life is falling apart. An insider previously told Heat,
"Meghan and Harry are both stunned by the harsh things that are being said, and the hits keep on coming. Harry's wife saying they must never give up, but that doesn't take away from the fact she and Harry are currently perceived as a real laughingstock. And for all their bravado, it's a humiliating reality that's well and truly sinking in."
Now, it seems, Prince Harry is answering to his wife, with reports suggesting that Harry's wife sees the negative press surrounding his memoir as being the catalyst for their recent struggles. Pausing there. This is a publication that she encouraged. As I explained to you in parts passing back in January, she's hanging him out to dry. Not only did she encourage it, she also participated in it. As you can see, all of her sticky fingers all over the publication. But of course, typical of the narcissist, because it's now causing a problem or perceived to cause a problem, it's very simple. It can't be Harry's wife's fault, therefore it must be Harry's fault. And you ginger shithead, if you had not written what you had written, we wouldn't be in this complete clusterfuck, you moronic, balding half-wit. And thus, the blame is pinned on him, enabling her to not only assert control over him and draw fuel from him as he goes, "But William broke my necklace!" But it also enables her to assert control over all of the naysayers, because if she's not to blame, then she has control. Now it seems that their future careers are pinned on selling themselves as brand Sussex. Their reputations are more important than ever before, leaving Harry's memoir as a frustrating stain on both their names. Well, not the first time that Harry's wife has been covered in stains, I'll warrant.
"The sales may have been high, but the fallout has been so damaging, and not just in the court of public opinion, but now these cancelled deals with Spotify and their future with Netflix are apparently hanging in the balance,"
our source explains, after reports emerged last week that Shitflix could pull the plug on their 5-year $100 million deal.
"They tried to ride it out and hope that in time people would be more sympathetic, or at least learn to forgive and forget any bitterness or animosity that came from airing their views in the manner they had to. But it's been one problem after another, and now, with the benefit of hindsight, it's clear that Harry may have gone overboard with some of the criticisms of his family."
At the time of the book's release, it was reported Harry's wife had reservations. One source alleged she was left feeling nervous about the memoir's potential to blow up and combust, given the sensitive content, including branding Queen Camilla, 75, dangerous, and detailing physical fights with older brother Prince William, 41. "I broke my necklace." As it turns out, Spare did just that. And, Our insider reveals that Harry's wife is regretting not advising her husband against some of the more scandalous details of the memoir. Believe me, it's not a genuine regret, it's simply a pity play. We're told
Harry's wife can now see that, whether it's fair or not, they're being viewed as these professional whiners, and it's not as simple as her distancing herself, because she has to be seen as fully supportive of Harry. She's now regretting that she wasn't more hands-on or involved when he was putting his book together. This theory that she micromanaged what he wrote or had any say in the manuscript is totally wrong. It was Harry's book, and she let him get on with it. The same went for his interviews and promo tours. That was evidenced by the fact she let him do them himself and made a point not to interfere. While the couple's $1 million deal is seemingly evaporating in front of their eyes, Harry and Harry's wife's financial future isn't looking quite as stable as it did this time last year. And while hot on the heels of the Spotify humiliation, there were rumors that a partnership with Dior was on the cards, the fashion house was quick to deny that there had been any contract negotiations or indeed any contract at all with Harry's wife. As the Duchess attempts to secure more money-making deals ASAP, including setting up her own lifestyle brand, we're told she's feeling anxious about the future of Brand Sussex. Finding a new platform to host their podcast is a priority for Harry's wife now. They are not giving up and still feel passionate about making this a success somehow in the long run. But they also cannot help but feel like they're staring down the barrel of a potential nightmare right now, with a massive challenge on their hands to find new ways of making a living in America and clawing back their popularity. Harry's wife doesn't think it's impossible. She's too self-assured and ambitious for that. But it's a mess she could do well without, and ultimately, one she feels stems from Harry's decision to go after the family in the way he did. Just so you know, Harry's wife is blaming Harry. Not a surprise, and entirely commensurate with her status and behavior as a narcissist, as I told you a long, long time ago. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.